Arizona just certified what we have all known for a while, and that is that Joe Biden is our next president. It was the last of the 6 states you-know-who was contesting, and one of his most trusted advisors, Sean Hannity, suggested his next move should be pardoning himself and his family to stop the so-called witch hunt. I don't know that he even has the power to do that. What, does no one read? I mean, he can't he can pardon other people. I don't believe he can pardon himself. I mean, wouldn't Nixon have done it if it was something you could do? Am I crazy, Sonny?
That's right.
No, you're not. It's interesting, though, because this is a legal question that hasn't come up. It hasn't been reviewed by, let's say, the Supreme Court or any other court, because presidents don't usually have to pardon themselves, right? And so when Nixon needed a pardon, he stepped down, and he had his former vice president, of course, pardon him. And some people are saying that what Trump should do is step down, even, momentarily, and then have Vice President Pence become the president and then pardon Trump and perhaps his entire family. I think it's really sad that we're in this position, that we are actually having to talk about whether or not the president of the United States needs a pardon. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's really, it's something that I don't think I would have ever thought would happen like this in 2020.
Right. What do you think of this, Sarah? Is this kind of nutsy?
Well, hearing Sean Hannity talk about it, I was like, wait, but if you pardon yourself, you're just saying I'm guilty? Or does a pardon, is that like a get out of jail free card for anything you're eventually accused of? Is there like invisible ink where you write what you did, and then as they accuse you, you reveal that that was the pardon for that? Like, I didn't know how you would even execute this, but I thought it's also really convenient for Sean Hannity to talk about that. We've got like so many things in front of us right now. We're in the throes of a pandemic without stimulus relief. We're talking about vaccines and getting them distributed effectively. We just got some of the country to agree of the results of an election that happened last month now. So we've got other things. We're transitioning administrations. There's just so much going on that I'm like, why are we talking about a pardon? Let's put that at the bottom of the priorities list so we can just worry right now about what America actually needs. And then we can deal with Trump once we get everyone out of the White House, put the new group in the White House. Like, it's just so much going on that I'm like, why are you talking about this, dude?
Right. Right.
Wow.
Well, Joy, you've been through, we've lived through this. I mean, wouldn't Nixon have done it himself if it was possible to do?
Yes, indeed, he would have done it. I mean, he had to get Gerald Ford to do it, and I'm not sure what Pence would do, because Pence wants to be president someday, which is why, I think that's why he will show up at the inauguration. I don't know if Trump will, but I think Pence would. And the reason I say that is because Pence is a real politician, and he's a conniver also, but he also appeals to his base. He's anti-choice, he's anti-gay, what else is he? I mean, all the social conservative things are in his corner. So he already has that base. So he can now go on TV and do the inauguration and look like a statesman. As far as these pardons are concerned, I mean, they are coming fast and furious. We go to the list. Giuliani wants a pardon. Flynn's getting a pardon. Manafort wants one. Rick Gates, Papadopoulos. This is how Trump, your president of the United States, is spending his time, pardoning people and playing golf and raising, by the way, $170 million from all those people out there who believe that he won this election. Talk about P.T. Barnum, a sucker is born every minute. Who are these people who are sending him all this money? This is what he's doing right now.
Isn't a pardon for a specific crime? Like, Sonny, how are all these people being pardoned unless they spell out what they did? Don't you have to have a reason to pardon someone?
That's a great question, but
last summer, Sarah.
The bottom line is that the president's pardon power is really extensive. I wouldn't say it's exhaustive. Like, you can't pardon someone from impeachment, but there's no question. I think that you can issue a blanket pardon, even for crimes that, were committed, maybe perhaps could be, that haven't even been charged, that could be charged. So his power is pretty exhaustive, but the one thing he can't pardon for would be state crimes. He can only pardon really for federal
That's right.
crimes. So I would imagine that
That's
New York
right.
is still open to investigation. Florida is still open to
Letitia
investigation.
James is waiting
we
on
know that
him.
some of these. She really is. That's the Attorney General of New York.
She's
so I
waiting
would
for him.
imagine that
Yeah.
his pardon power is not that exhaustive. The other thing I want to mention is that what is interesting to me is once you pardon someone like a Michael Flynn, that gives people immunity. So Michael Flynn could decide to turn against Trump and testify against him. So it's really not the best strategy. But I don't know that Trump has thought that through.
Why would he?
But you also have a legal note. Do you have to wait? We have this legal note that you're supposed to. Do you need to read that? Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Should we all read it together?
Trump has
I'm kidding.
repeatedly.
Go ahead, Sonny.
Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, saying investigations into his conduct in office and his business dealings are motivated by politics. He has also denied allegations of sexual misconduct and affairs, saying payments were a personal matter, not a campaign expense.
Well, I think it's very exciting that, he can pardon himself federally, but there are all these people waiting. Letitia James is waiting with her little foot. She is patting that foot, waiting for him to make a step out, because he keeps saying he's going to run in 2024. You're not going to run if you're in jail, my friend. And that is something you must also think of. I'm just saying.